Hello, my dear children. Children, in the class today, we are going to study acceleration in circular motion. So let's first of all find out acceleration in uniform circular motion. Yes, children, we know that uniform circular motion is the motion where an object moves with constant speed. So in the diagram here, we have an object which is moving with constant speed on the circular path of radius r. So this is an object, this is a bob moving on circular path with a constant speed v. Let us assume that this bob over its trajectory, over its circular path, moves from point 1 to 2. And as it moves from point 1 to 2, it covers an angular displacement of d theta, and that d theta is covered in very small time dt. So this dt tends to 0 and this d theta also tends to 0. So this d theta is angular displacement of this bob in time dt, and both are infinitesimally small. So this is point 1, this is point 2, and this is angle d theta, and r is the radius of this circular motion. So what is acceleration? We are going to find out by resolution method. There are a number of ways we can find out acceleration. We can find out acceleration by unit vector method. We can find out acceleration by similarity of triangles. But what method we are going to employ is a resolution method. So what are we going to do? We are going to magnify this situation. This part is going to be magnified so that we can see the resolution of vector very clearly. So this magnified diagram is shown here. This is point 1, this is point 2. Here the velocity vector is v, like this. And at this point, as the bob reaches point 2, the velocity vector is v, like this. Now, as the bob moves from 1 to 2, this total angle, that is angular displacement, is d theta. What we have done is, we have drawn x-axis as well as y-axis. We have drawn two perpendicular axes. Here also we have drawn x-axis and y-axis. Here also we have drawn x-axis and y-axis. This is line parallel to y-axis passing through center. If this angle is d theta, then this angle is going to be d theta by 2, and also this angle is going to be d theta by 2. Now what is direction of velocity at point 1? This velocity v is tangential in this direction. Now if you look at this triangle, this is d theta by 2. This angle is going to be 90 minus d theta by 2. This total angle is going to be 90. Why? Because this radius is always perpendicular to tangent. So this angle is 90 minus d theta by 2, this total is 90. Therefore this angle is going to be 90 minus d theta by 2, that is d theta by 2. Likewise here, this angle is d theta by 2. We can very easily see that this angle is going to be d theta by 2. So velocity here makes an angle d theta by 2 from x-axis. Velocity here also makes an angle d theta by 2 from x-axis. Let us resolve these velocities. Well, this velocity v will have two components. One would be along x-axis, and that would be what? That would be v cos of d theta by 2. And the other component would be along y-axis, and that would be v sine of d theta by 2. Let us resolve velocity at 2. Now this velocity v will have a component in this direction, and that would be v cos of d theta by 2. And the component of the velocity in this direction would be what? Yeah, that would be v sine of d theta by 2. So these are the velocities along x-axis at point 1 and 2, and these are the velocities along y-axis at point 1 and 2. And time taken to move from 1 to 2 is what? dt, very small. So let us study the motion along y-axis as well as x-axis. So let us start with motion along x-axis. What is initial velocity along x-axis? Yeah, this is initial instant. So velocity along x-axis is what? V cos d theta by 2. So initial velocity along x-axis at point 1 is what? V cos of d theta by 2. This is V cos of d theta by 2. And what is final velocity? That is at 2. Final velocity along x-axis at 2 is V cos of d theta by 2. See, both the velocities are same. That simply means, what is change of velocity along x-axis? Change of velocity along x-axis is going to be this minus this. Since both the velocity vectors are same, therefore this change is going to be what? 0. And this change of velocity takes place in how much time? This change of velocity takes place in time dt. Therefore, change of velocity per unit time is going to be acceleration along x-axis, and that is going to be 0. Why? Because dv is equal to 0. Therefore, acceleration along x-axis is 0. And what about this x-axis? The acceleration along x-axis is 0. Well, this is the magnified diagram. The actual situation exists here. So this x-axis seems to be a chord here. Because these 2 positions of the bobs are far away from each other. But in reality, both these points are very close to each other. So if these 2 points, these two positions of the bob move closer to each other, this x-axis which looks like a chord would convert itself into tangent. If these 2 points A1 and 2 are here, of course the line joining them would be a chord. But as 1 and 2 come close to each other, well, the x-axis at 1 and 2 would in fact be what? Tangent. So acceleration along x-axis is nothing but tangential acceleration. So tangential acceleration comes out to be 0. That is motion along x-axis. So let us now see what is happening along y-axis. If we look at the motion along y-axis, what is initial velocity along y-axis? What is initial velocity along y-axis here? This is v sine d theta by 2. V sine of d theta by 2. Why do we put negative sign? We put negative sign because the direction is along negative y-axis. And what is final velocity? That is at 2 along y-axis. It is what? It is plus. Why plus? Because the final velocity is where? Along positive y-axis. Plus v sine of d theta by 2. What is change of velocity? Change of velocity along y-axis is going to be this vy minus uy. And if we find out this difference, what do we get? If we find out this difference, we get dy, the change of velocity along y-axis, is what? This minus this, v sine of d theta by 2 minus v sine theta by 2. So minus would become plus. So this difference is going to be what? 2v sine of d theta by 2. Well, we know that sine of any angle, say alpha, is going to be alpha if alpha is small. That is a very well known result. And now this angle d theta is already very, very small. It is infinitely small. Therefore, this dvy can also be written as 2v d theta by 2. You can see that this 2 cancels out. We get dvy as what? V d theta. And if we divide both sides by what? The time. If we divide both sides by time, then what do we get? Right hand side is v d theta by dt. What is this dv by dt? This is rate of change of velocity along y-axis. And children, rate of change of velocity along y-axis is what? Acceleration along y-axis. And what is that? That is v d theta by dt. And what is this d theta by dt? D theta by dt is nothing but angular velocity. This is angular velocity. Well, this quantity d theta by dt is nothing but instantaneous angular velocity. Therefore, this is acceleration along y-axis. Now let us again come back to the original diagram. See, this acceleration is along y-axis. Where is y-axis? Y-axis here is like this and y-axis here is like this. But this is the magnified version of this actual situation. And what is actual situation? In actual situation, both these positions are very close to each other. Very close to each other. So close that point 1 and 2 are the 2 points in the neighborhood. If that be the case, see, if point 1 and 2, the position 1 and 2 come close to each other, these y-axis will shift towards each other. And when point 1 and 2 are so close such that they are 2 points in the neighborhood, y-axis would in fact be a line passing through center. So this y-axis, which seems to be two different axes at 1 and 2, are not different axes. They are in fact what? An axis passing through center, like this. So this acceleration along y-axis is what? Yeah, this is acceleration along y-axis is called as AR. We call it as AR. We call it as AR because it is what? A radial acceleration. Radial acceleration. And direction of this acceleration is what? See, this vector minus this vector. So minus where? The direction is where? Upward. Upward means towards center. So direction of this acceleration, which is radial acceleration, is where? Towards center. Direction of this acceleration is where? Towards center. The towards center means centripetal. Towards center means centripetal, or centripetal means towards center. So we can also call this as what? AR as centripetal acceleration. And this centripetal acceleration is V into omega, and we know that V is equal to what? R omega. That means this centripetal acceleration can also be written as V is R omega, and this omega makes it what? R omega square. We can also write down, this omega as V by R. If we write omega as V by R, what do we get? AR as? We get AR as V, omega as V by R, so V square by R. So these are various forms of the same centripetal acceleration. So what is happening? What is happening in uniform circular motion? There is no tangential acceleration. Of course there is centripetal acceleration. So what is overall acceleration? Overall acceleration A is going to be what? The vector sum of AR and AT. Since AT is 0, therefore net acceleration is going to be what? AR. And that is what? V omega. It can be written as R omega square. And it can also be written as V square by R. So these are the various forms of the acceleration in uniform circular motion. So if circular motion is taking place like this, if it is uniform, then acceleration at any point, is always towards center. Acceleration at any point is where? Always towards center. Acceleration at any point is where? Always towards center, which is centripetal acceleration, AR. And this centripetal acceleration is fixed in magnitude, and direction of course is different at each and every instant. So in uniform circular motion, there is only one acceleration, that is centripetal acceleration, whose magnitude remains same but direction keeps changing at each and every point, and it is always towards center. So let's find out the acceleration in non-uniform circular motion. So children, let's know what is acceleration in non-uniform circular motion. Well, you know, in non-uniform circular motion, speed is a variable. As the object moves on circular path, the speed at each and every point is different. It is different in magnitude, and the velocity is different in both magnitude as well as directions. So this is velocity. Velocity here is what? Say maximum. So velocity here is going to be what? Minimum. If it is motion in vertical plane, and as the bob moves from here to here, the velocity decreases, and as we move from here to here, the speed, the value of velocity increases. So we already know that tangential acceleration is what? Tangential acceleration is rate of change of speed, and speed here is what? A variable. Therefore we do have a non-zero value of tangential acceleration, unlike uniform circular motion where there is no tangential acceleration. So we do have non-zero value of tangential acceleration, and that is what? dv by dt. This is rate of change of speed. Remember, this is rate of change of speed. Radial acceleration is there as usual. Radial acceleration is there as usual. We can find out exactly in the same way. So radial acceleration is going to be as usual AR, and this AR is going to be what? V omega or R omega square or V square by R. But remember, this radial acceleration which is present in non-uniform circular motion differs in magnitude as well as direction at each and every instant. In uniform circular motion, this acceleration is fixed in magnitude, but in non-uniform circular motion, since v is a variable, the speed is a variable, the speed is what? Is a variable, it is not a constant. Therefore the value of acceleration varies in magnitude also. Here the centripetal acceleration is maximum, here the centripetal acceleration is what? Minimum. And as you move from here to here, as the speed decreases, centripetal acceleration also decreases in magnitude, and as the speed increases in this part, the centripetal acceleration increases. So acceleration not only varies in magnitude, of course it is already varying in direction. So here magnitude also varies. What is net acceleration? Net acceleration is going to be the vector sum of both these perpendicular accelerations. One is AT, another is what? Another is AR. So if this object is moving on circular path, non-uniform motion, then the tangential acceleration is like this, AT. This is radial acceleration which is towards center, centripetal acceleration, and the overall acceleration is going to be vector sum of both, and vector sum of both is going to be somewhere in between, and that somewhere in between direction is what? The direction of acceleration, net acceleration. And what is the value of net acceleration? Square root of sum of these, square root of sum of their squares, and we know how do we find out sum of perpendicular vectors. So net acceleration is vector sum of these two perpendicular vectors, and sum of two perpendicular vectors is always square root of sum of their squares. So what is this A? This A can be written as, AR can be written as what? Suppose we write this. So it is what? V to the power 4 upon R square plus, what is this? AT. This is dV by dt whole square, and then of course square root. So this is the acceleration. This is the acceleration in non-uniform circular motion. And remember, this acceleration is neither towards center nor along tangent. It is somewhere in between. So children, with this we come to the end of acceleration in circular motion, and what we have seen is that radial acceleration is common to both uniform as well as non-uniform circular motion, but tangential acceleration is missing in UCM, and it is very much present in non-UCM. What does this mean? This simply means tangential acceleration is not a necessity for circular motion, and the acceleration which is common in both is radial acceleration, centripetal acceleration, which is must for circular motion. So with this we come to the end of today's class. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.